Hey, y'all, wake up.
It's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go first.
Snowstorm.
Antarctica.
Ice scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
Okay, what do you got there, big man?
All right. So we got, we're going to just sprint through these. TheConversation.com. Over 100 years of Antarctic agriculture is helping scientists grow food in space. We talked about the lunar soil, and this was brought up in that article.
Yeah, this really matches what we've talked about already. Here.
So, but a headline that is more specific to the point of, hey, Antarctica, and the extreme weather conditions, and people that have had tried to grow food or just agriculture in general. They are helping scientists grow food in space.
100 years of Antarctic agriculture. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, there is no human culture that has existed for any long period of time in Antarctica. It's all explorers and scientists. So you're saying this is like survival agriculture they've been trying to do down there? Sir Shackleton, was trying to plant something to survive. For a refresher, if y'all didn't get the news story we brought last episode, something. It was one of the recent ones where they, scientists grew some 33 seeded plants
right.
In little thimbles of moon soil. You're saying this had something to do with that?
I think so. It says here,
let's hear
out
it.
How to feed people in space is a major part of a larger effort to demonstrate the viability of long-term human habitation of extraterrestrial environments. Mm-hmm. On May 12th, 2022, a team of scientists announced they had successfully grown plants using lunar soil gathered during the Apollo moon missions. But this is not the first time that scientists have attempted to grow plants in soils that typically do not support life. I am a historian of Antarctic science.
Oh, brag.
Daniela McCahey wrote this. Assistant professor of history at Texas Tech University. And she continues, how to grow plants and food in the far southern reaches of Earth has been an active area of research for more than 120 years. These efforts have helped further understanding of the many challenges of agriculture in extreme environments and eventually led to limited but successful plant cultivation in Antarctica. And especially after the 1960s, scientists began to explicitly look at this research as a stepping stone to human habitation in space. It's very interesting because both space, in the way we are told and have been taught since we were little, and in the Antarctica ice wall model of flat earthers, both speak of sort of this other realm. Like Antarctica is sort of the transition from kind of our regular world into this other realm.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So yeah, in the flat Earth model, Antarctica is not a continent, but it is a wall. It is a barrier between Earth and whatever is outside of Earth. So it's like a transitionary thing. And I can say, okay, so now they're using Antarctica as an example as sort of a agricultural transition, just not even just agriculture, scientific transitionary geographical location to space. So you're saying the globe heads and the flat earthers have something in common?
We're bringing people together. It's what we do on this show. And
building bridges, like Klaus Schwab. We shall build bridges.
I'm sorry, I can't keep a straight face. At
no
the end
matter
of the show,
what shape.
Hearing you talk about how we aspire, much like Klaus Schwab.
Oh, we don't aspire. We naturally achieve greatness, where we are building bridges, finding ways where globe heads and flat earthers can live together and agree on one thing, and that is that Antarctica is a transitionary location, which goes along with our sort of grand theory of Antarctica, which is that it is more of a philosophical technology used by the elites for whatever purpose, rather than simply a hunk of cold dirt.
Well, they go through some history of Antarctic agriculture from like 1902, but I want to get to some of the more interesting parts here.
Get to the good stuff.
Antarctica as an analog for space. I've been calling this for a while.
Analog for space. This is like exactly
I'm
what we've been
telling
talking
you,
about.
Man, the conversation must listen to our show and get ideas.
In another way, sorry, I got to just let you read it. But
Sure.
For those who have been following this, an analog for space in another way, in the same way that space is sort of the scientific
Final
promised
frontier.
land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Final
so
frontier.
it's like the promised land. Like you go, it's where the prophets reside.
Right.
The astronauts. That's where they get the things that we can't see
They
and tell
view
us about
Earth
it.
from a different perspective, the perspective
And
of the gods.
In a similar way, Antarctica holds just that type of wisdom that will bring the humans into the new age.
As permanent human occupation of Antarctica grew through the middle of the 20th century, humanity also began its push into space, and specifically to the moon. Starting in the 1960s, scientists working for organizations like NASA began thinking of the hostile, extreme, and alien Antarctic as a convenient analog for space exploration, where nations can test space technologies and protocols, including plant production. That interest continued through the end of the 20th century, but it wasn't until the 2000s that space became a primary goal of some Antarctic agricultural research. In 2004, the National Science Foundation and the University of Arizona's Controlled Environment Agriculture Center, interesting, collaborated to build the South Pole Food Growth Chamber. This project was designed to test the idea of controlled environment agriculture, a means of maximizing plant growth while minimizing resource use. According to its architects, the facility closely mimicked the conditions of a moon base and provided an analog on Earth for some of the issues that will arise. Oh, this is all in quotes. And provided, quote, an analog on Earth for some of the issues that will arise when food production is moved to space habitations, end quote. This facility continues to provide the South Pole Station with supplementary food. And, given the whole food thing right now.
Right, the food crisis.
I mean, think about that. Think about food production in space. And, I can see
in this
Bezos
realm.
Yeah.
Interesting thing pointed out by Joss Fajitas in the chat, making the comparison between the transitionary place between space and Earth, or sort of scientifically by the globe heads or literally by the flat earthers, comparing that to the river Styx in mythology,
Yes.
the river that you must be ferried across from one realm to another. Another interesting aspect of that is, you needed to pay the ferryman or whatever to cross the river Styx. That's why they put like coins on your eyes or whatever. And in the same way, Antarctica, very economically focused. It's the resources, holds the resources for nations, holds the, you got to buy your cruise ticket to go on a boat to go down to Antarctica. You've got the, there's a lot of comparisons there as Antarctica as the realm between realms.
Let me just finish up with this. Antarctic research plays an important role for space to this day. In 2018, Germany launched a project in Antarctica called Eden ISS.
Of course they did.
That focused on plant cultivation technologies and their application in space in a semi-closed system. The plants grow in air as misters spray chemically enhanced water on their roots. In the first year, Eden ISS was able to produce enough fresh vegetables to comprise 1/3 of a diet for a 6-person crew. And they have a picture here. This has to be photoshopped. I don't know that this is real. I mean, it looks photoshopped to me, but maybe it's not. It's like a big trailer. It has Eden ISS on the side written on there, and it's got these it's like on like a stilt or
I don't
something?
think that's photoshopped. I think that's real.
You think it's real?
Yeah, it's basically a shipping container on stilts.
Right. In the snow.
And they put it on stilts because of the snow drifts.
Right. But where's the staircase going to?
Up onto the deck thing.
No,
there.
I know, but like down at the bottom, is it just going into snow or what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just going in the snow.
All right.
That's when when the heater's too hot in the garden room. Got to go take a little jump into the snow.
Before sending people to Moon or Mars, it might be wise to first prove that a settlement can survive on its own amid the frozen southern plains of Earth. So yes, Antarctica, the bridge between here and space.
Yeah. Wow, that is very interesting.
The conversation making it mainstream.
Intellectually captivating.
Yes.
Is what that was. Thank you very much. Well, I got something else that'll be intellectually captivating.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, I have not read it. This is a gift that you brought to me. I have not read it. And I will read it now, and we'll see what it is. This is coming from Zyn, Z-Y-N.net.
Oh, that's a different one. Okay.
That's not right. Zyri, Z-Y-R-I.
Yes.
Right? This is what I'm reading, right?
Yep. Yeah.
This is the one.
Yeah. Well, there was that other one about The Thing, the movie, The Thing. Did you ever see that?
No, too scary.
Okay, The Thing is celebrating its 40th anniversary, and part of the plot of The Thing was that set in the winter of 1982 at a research station in Antarctica, a 12-man research team finds an alien being that has fallen from the sky and has remained buried in the snow for over 100,000 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, so that's what The Thing was about. It was all based in Antarctica, an alien that was frozen there for 100,000 years. But anyway, just some fun predictive programming. But yes, please read this Zyri article because
Zyri.net.
Yes,
the headline.
Yeah, go ahead.
Headline goes like this: a new relaunch of the government, but without defining what, how, and who. Okay, delightfully vague. Let's see. President Alberto Fernandez participated yesterday in an act of the Construction Workers Union in the Buenos Aires party of Esteban Echeverría. In different sections of his speech, the president highlighted the good results that its economic plan is achieving. Is this about Argentina? Is
I
it
think so.
Alberto? Okay. Quote, we wanted the economy to develop. We wanted equal growth, and we did. Today, there are 4,600 workers underway in the country, which are more roads, drinking water, sewers, and technical schools, said Alberto Fernandez. Oh, the workers are roads.
It's works, by the way. 4,600 works underway.
Oh, works underway. Okay. Yeah. It was the prelude to what will be next week's act on May 25th, from which we'll seek to relaunch the government, possibly with a trip to Antarctica. Okay.
So what is happening here? What's going on? They're celebrating something in Antarctica or in Argentina.
Relaunching the government by going to Antarctica.
Why are they relaunching the government, possibly with a trip to the Antarctica?
So Antarctica. So we know. So Argentina. It's been identified in mainstream media that there are gateway cities.
Yes.
To Antarctica. It's one of the weirder kind of cultural parts about it is like if Antarctica truly does become sort of the promised land, social justice promised land, as we've been told, but there's gateway cities you have to go through. And Argentina, of course, the southernmost country in South America, I believe it's called, can I remember? I think it's Ushuaia is the southernmost city to go through in Argentina to get to Antarctica.
You would be correct. It is spelled Ushuaia.
Okay, there we go.
Good job. Yeah.
Ushuaia, yeah.
Takes the Drake passage there.
So they're going to relaunch the government, possibly with a trip to Antarctica. I love the word possibly in there. Like, we've been thinking about taking a trip, but I don't know. It's pretty cold down there. We could figure out something else
what we could do. We can relaunch the government. Come on, man. Let's take a trip down to the ice
Let's do it. I'm kind of browsing the rest of this, and it is sort of equally as hard to understand. Organizations often need to modify the composition of their work team, redefine responsibilities and tasks, and realign the goals to which they are aiming. In politics in particular, there is a tendency to propose more ambitious goals when an election is on the horizon and the government is losing support in society. The drop in his popularity, his positive image barely fluctuates between 20% and 25%, forces President Alberto Fernandez to reconsider what does your government do, how does it do it, and who does it? Stupid thing keeps messing up my reading. Sorry. And who does it? The risk is that there is a change of names. Those of Agustin Rossi and Florencio Randazzo sound more powerful, but that the policies or the way of implementing them are not modified. In a government, one must not only look at who is part of it, but what they do and how they do. They're going to Antarctica to have a retreat. They're going to do a team building exercise.
They will emerge as...
Yeah. They're going to go have a transformative experience. The government, the president is going to take his people down to Antarctica, probably take some shrooms or something.
Like a Gandalf thing where he comes back
as
the light from the snow.
This is kind of like, yeah, you're right. This is like like we need to rethink how we do the government. We need to redo. We need to get our heads on our shoulders. We need to learn to trust each other. We'll do some trust falls. We'll take some psychedelics. We'll get a shaman to come down from the World Economic Forum, and we'll spend a week down there, and we'll come back and we'll redo the government. This is great. What is this? In addition, on Tuesday, the Minister of Economy, Martin Guzman, had said in an interview on the C5N channel, quote, export duties will not be increased. The decision, I skipped down a bit, is made by the president, and each official must respect his decisions. For twists and turns like these, for moments it looks like a schizophrenic government. Even those who are supposed to already agree cannot agree. They are literally going to Antarctica for team building exercises so the government can get on the same page. What is going on in Argentina?
They're going to cure the Argentinian government's schizophrenia in Antarctica.
Yeah, the promised land. Now, this is really fascinating because in the sort of cultural narrative that we've been tracking of Antarctica it is the answer to all of our woes as humans, in governance, in geopolitics, in finding ourselves as a species. Antarctica holds the secrets, and it's sort of a tabula rasa is how it's been billed. And upon that blank slate has been what we've been repeatedly mentioning, which is the ideological colonization. There's lots of wokeness, lots of progressivism, lots of things happening, as well as the introduction of a vast new frontier for resource collection, which has been described as like enough for everyone. We can, everybody can prosper with the wealth that's in Antarctica, but also a place in which human beings can redefine themselves as a society. And so for the Argentinian government, talking about, reworking their, what was the actual words here? Zoom. Relaunch the government, possibly with a trip to Antarctica. It's like they're going on a walkabout, like a journey together where they will learn. They'll find danger and excitement, and when they come home, they'll realize that the treasure they was looking for was the friendships they made along the way. And boom, Argentina, with the gateway city of Ushuaia, will be an example of just how Antarctica will save humanity. And no surprise that there's, of course, also aliens down there. So they're going to go take some shrooms, go talk to the aliens, come back up, make a utopian society in Argentina. That sounds about right to me.
There's a little, you can wrap it up with the last two paragraphs there at the end. Mentions Antarctica again. Yeah, relaunching a government. Yeah,
relaunching a government makes sense if there is a self-critical spirit. There we go. There's that self-growth thing. And President Fernandez and his collaborators really want to go all the way. Probably the alleged relaunch of May 25th is just another chapter within the internal, an event for show Christina Kirchner that the president has autonomy and an epic of his own. What? This is parenthetical. It is not by chance that you think of a trip to Antarctica, although the weather forecast could ruin the plans. Meanwhile, a large number of Argentines dreams of a genuine relaunch that produces concrete changes. It seems difficult. Okay, so there's a little bit of translation issues here.
Christine Kirchner is the current vice president of Argentina, and she's a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They really are doing this,
They're
aren't
doing
they?
it,
This
yeah.
is the plan. Wow. Should we load up Biden and Kamala and Nancy Pelosi? I mean, well, look,
Just
I
ship
mean,
him down to
we
Antarctica.
can all agree to send them to Antarctica, but it's either, hey, find yourselves,
Especially
or don't
since
find your way home.
Nancy Pelosi's didn't like an archbishop or something say that he's not going to give her communion anymore.
Yeah, she has been banned from communion for in the Catholic Church because of her support of the abortion
That's funny.
issue.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So she's
wow.
She'll be mad. I'll just go to Antarctica.
I mean, this
Have
is
my
big.
spiritual
This is the government, governmental cabinet of a country, a full country, going down to Antarctica on like a spiritual journey to see how they should run their country. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, this just about wraps up pretty much everything we've been building to.
And you're not going to really hear, this is the kind of report that you're not going to really get from, Western media per se. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, now we know where we're going to hold the Canary Cry Con.
Yeah, I really have to raise some cash.
Not in Antarctica, in the Argentinian government building, because nobody will be there.
All we need to do is get our hands on the Ernest Shackleton's hand-drawn, signed, what is this?
Flat Earth map?
Yeah, the hand-drawn map of Antarctica created by Ernest Shackleton.
It's for sale,
It's
isn't
for
it?
sale, yeah. dailymail.co.uk. Huge 5x3 foot map of Antarctica, hand-drawn and signed by Ernest Shackleton and not seen in public for 30 years.
30 years.
Tipped to sell for £70,000 at auction when it goes under the hammer alongside raft and polar memorabilia.
I smell a Nicolas Cage adventure coming. I think we can get our hands on this map and get ourselves some UV lights and special Benjamin Franklin monocles and find the secret map to the treasure.
Wow, this map really does look like the current map of Antarctica. So
Yeah, he did a good job. He made a good map. Good job, Sir Shackleton. Is given to him by the knowledge that was seeping through the Evercube into the water supply of his camp.